Hello everyone, welcome to the Weeb initiative. I'm your host, the Weeb. This is the show where every other week I'm going to talk about anime, manga, and everything in between. This week we will be talking about the Idol Master. Now, before I start, I really need to get some disclaimers out and some housekeeping actually. So first off, spoiler alert, I may or may not talk about spoilers in this episode. May happen, and although there are no plot twists in the 25 episodes of Idol Master, some of the things are better watched than told, so I'm sorry if I say more than I should. Anyways, another disclaimer, so this is the whole story, right? I started thinking, and I need to link this down in the description of this episode. For some reason, YouTube just recommended this music to me that is shanty. Oh, I can't even know what I don't even know the original song, but basically it's shanty replay mixed with Snow Halation. That is a Love Live song. And then I went like, man, you know what I really miss? Idol music. And so I went like, oh boy, I need to watch the one idol anime I really love, the Idol Master. Yeah, Cinderella Girls, obviously. And then I began to have this idea, right? So I went to compare and contrast, and already hot takes in this episode. Idol Master Cinderella Girls is better than Love Live, the first season at the very least. This is non-debatable, and I will fight anyone that says otherwise. Cinderella Girls is just better in every aspect, but that's a conversation for another episode. So and then I wanted to do this back to the original story, right? And I wanted to do this compare and contrast and say that Cinderella Girls is better than Love Live. But then I have this one problem, right? That is the housekeeping part. That for reasons regarding my day job, December is the month I have determined to not do any episodes of the podcast. So this is the last episode of the year, coming November 30. Oh boy, I'm bad with English. So the 30th of November, and the next episode is coming on the first week of January 2022. I hope we get there. I hope you will listen to me talk to you about Love Live, Idol School Project. There's the spoiler of the next episode already. And the thing is, with only one episode to fill in, and I wanted to do this whole idea of compare and contrast, I had to watch the one that lives alone, the one that stands alone. So it's the original Idol Master, the one that came before everything else. It may not be, I mean, probably isn't the first idol-centered anime, but to me is the one that stands alone. And after rewatching it, I have become a fan. It is so fulfilling in a way. It's, oh boy, I'll talk more about it when I get to the episode, right? So this is the part of the disclaimer, right? So housekeeping, December there will be no new episodes of the podcast. We will resume in January, and I am doing the original Idol Master because the next two episodes is about Love Live Idol School Project and Idol Master Cinderella Girls. That out of the way. So let's start with stats. And to be fair, I did minimal research on this, not because there's no research to be done. Obviously, there's always something I could add, but for the format of the show at this point, and for what I think is best in presentation and all, given that I have to talk about some heavy stuff and make some bigger points, first things first, right? So Idolmaster, why do I like Idolmaster? The first thing about Idolmaster compared to Love Live, Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, or the original one, is that the music is pretty good. I mean, if you want to see honest to God good idol music, Idolmaster has you covered. And I'll leave one link to the live performance of one of the best songs in this series, the original Idolmaster, right? There is Aoi Tori. It's such a beautiful song. Oh man, the performance is awesome. But also, both, so the anime has 25 episodes. It's made by A1 Pictures. Famous A1 Pictures also have done SAO, Sword Art Online, and milking it, right? Milking it. But also that's a story for another day. The anime released in July 2011 and ran through December 2011, and that's why I believe it is the one that stands alone, the one that came before everything. Love Live, for example, came out in 2014, and Cinderella Girls, I think it's the same year, I could be wrong. Each of the songs there is played in the anime, even in background, they show the name of the song, the one performing it, and the instrumental, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, getting back to the thing, right? So, first point, the OST is already covered by the anime itself, and I do not need to talk about it. I eventually will rewatch it again just to get all the songs I like, but that's a personal thing. So next thing, it's done by A1. The origins of the anime, right? The Idolmaster is, in my opinion, one of the best adaptations of a game into an anime. The original game came out in the early 2000s. I think the first iteration was an arcade game in Japan in 2005, from what I could gather here. It was one heck of a game from what I could find. You needed some special magnetic safeguards to really save your progress. Like, it's a management game done in an arcade. So what? Japan is ahead of its time in arcade games to this day. I think the culture there went forward, where here in the West it kind of died down. It became more of a niche thing, in my opinion, from what I see. So it's based off a game. I have not played it, unfortunately. The later games, the one that still goes today, right? And the reason that I think they do not make any more anime is that Cinderella Girls is such a recurring money producing low effort thing. It's a mobile game of sorts, so you can imagine microtransactions just keep it going. And given that the game is all about waifus in Japan, how many whales do they have? That's my question. How many people actually whale off to the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls when they release a new girl? And you know that's the thing, because when you enter the spicy side of the internet, you can find the fan art like 10 minutes after. But that's another judgment. Anyways, so the Cinderella Girls, from what I gather, has updates till now. The last girl, I don't know the name of all the girls that got released after the anime, so whatever. And unfortunately, here in the West, from what I gather, if you have to get the Japanese VPN to get the Japanese Play Store, to then install the game, and that's a lot of work, so I did not try that. But I'm not saying you can't. It's just a drag, right? The closest thing from what I gather in this part of the game is it's called Idolm Manager. It is available on Steam. I have it. It's hard as balls. God damn, it is a hard tycoon management game. God damn. So I'm getting sidetracked already, and oh boy, this is gonna be a long episode. So, what is the anime about? Why did I become a fan? Why did I watch it again? And let me preface this with a story, right? So the first time I watched the Idolmaster, the original one that we're talking here, it was after I watched Love Live and the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. And Cinderella Girls it left me with a very good impression because all the girls feel so real. A1 has this thing where they can, and given right, the game has its lore and all, but the presentation is a big part of it. And A1 can have this thing where they present stories way too good, even if they are exaggerated or dramatized. And Cinderella Girls kinda had me with that feeling of, man, it's almost real. I can connect to the characters, right? And the struggles they transfer to me. You feel like you are in those characters' life. You see them thrive and you cheer for them, and they get sad. You get sad too, and all. And when I got to the Idolmaster, the original one, after Cinderella Girls, man. And to be fair, I was younger back then, and now that we watched to talk to you in the show, it is hard. It's a story about struggle. It is a story about 13 girls. They work in this startup, really small idol company. And to be fair already, another disclaimer, I don't know how idols work in the business side. I just watch them sing. That's it. So whatever I'm saying is based off the anime. I don't know. I'm not claiming to be an expert. The thing about, so going back, right? The thing about the Idolmaster, the original one, it's that, oh man, the struggles are so real. So you have to imagine that in this season there are only a few characters still in school. They do this idol job as a part-time, and most of them have family matters, school matters. Although school is not really shown off much, it is a factor, right? They mention it. You can make out the problem with, yeah, but you can't fail school while you do your part-time job, although the part-time job doesn't actually require school, but that's a whole nother thing. And then what's the pressure you get from your parents, your family and all. And that's that aside, right? So the story is about struggle. The story is about, and this is a thing with most slice of life. It doesn't matter what I tell you here, because the end is not the objective, the journey is. And to watch them thrive, to watch them struggle with obstacles, to overcome, that is the appeal to this anime. To see these girls grow, and I'm being already philosophical and all, but that is the sitch, that is the plot of the show. I can't sit here and tell you about, yeah, so I just watched for the animation, the music. That's partly true, but also partly false. And the animation is a whole nother beast in this case, because, oh boy, you can clearly see that every episode they had a huge budget, but they blew it once in the episode. And then from that point on, the frames start to get really strange. uneven eyes, the whole stitch, the strange face. It isn't the thing in Naruto, but if you look close enough, you get weirded out. At the very least, I did. So the first episode of the show is it's a pitch about the whole idea. So they kind of make this kind of documentary being recorded at the office of their office, their small mid of the road office. It's a fun pitch. It's a fun way to present the anime for first timers. And to me, I really thought, yeah, that's funny. That's pretty funny. Legitimately, I would watch more of it. And then the first episode was just they show off the girls, right? And the producer and all the main characters that you follow from that point on. And each and every episode from them on, it is each episode shows one of the girls with their problems. So and I have here pointed, right, there are 13 girls, though from what I can gather there are only 10 types of struggle. One of the episodes from one specific girl I don't consider a struggle. Actually, it's pretty happy-go-lucky and good for a fault for the most part, and nothing bad really happens, so kind of meh. And one of them just has no struggles, just the soul will to follow the dream again. I'll get to that, but anyways. So the show's pretty wholesome. It's so cute. Some of the interactions are it's just cute. I can't use a better word. The girls, they eventually grow on you. Some of the girls start off pretty hit or miss, like, man, this girl's annoying, this is not a good interaction and all. But then you see that they pull off this synergy, right? The combination, the sum of the parts is better than them alone. From them on, you just chug along, right? At some point you just watching because it becomes entertaining. And to be fair, right, for the first 13 episodes, they actually treat it as a separate season. So the first season, it is the small firm arc, right? They do not have a name. They do not interact with many people outside the office, and most of them do separate work, altogether work. And it's a small firm, and they have just small gigs and all, until there's this one point where the Ritsuko, which is one of the girls, which begins as mainly another producer. The producer himself is a character. There would be the representation of the player. He has no name. I don't know if it's canon that he has no name, but he's the representation of what would be the player in the game. And in this first season, you can see the parallels of the game, right? It's not so much turned to the story arc yet. You see the part where the player is learning how to play, and they have Ritsuko as this rival in the same firm, just as a tutorial level. I think it's presented, right? So Ritsuko has this idea to create a idol unit with the first three girls, Iori, Ami, and Asuka. And from that point on, the chemistry kind of changes, right? So they input all this new mechanic where you can already see what happens when when part of the cast becomes more important than the rest of the group. and then this sparks the whole thing about inferiority, the will to strive, the doubts in the girls whether they will make it big or they will keep being small time idols and all. And this unit being created is more of a point for later to the end of the season, but at the same time not really. So I've just get this out of the way, right? The end of the season, the first season, is built on a very, very bad plot point. That is a very, very bad plot point. Though the resolution of the plot point is pretty, it's on point. You can see the struggle and you can see the resolution. You can see it being solved. You can see the reconciliation and all. So I'm giving pretty general descriptions of the whole thing because I don't want to spoil each of the struggles, right? So from what I could gather, right, from the 10 struggles that I got, there are the struggles that are presented, to my knowledge, to my opinion, more in the weak side, so they are kind of a stretch, maybe not so important, maybe not. Some could say they are not actually struggles, or they are just nitpicks on the everyday life and this job life that eventually comes to them. So first one that I got is trust. The second is family union. The third is this inferiority complex towards your siblings or older brothers, older sisters. This feeling of living in the shadow of someone. And this next one is a whole nother plot point, right? So there's one of the girls that's Makoto. She's a girl, and she has this whole. It's a complex. It's a whole building story that she was raised as a boy, and she hates it. She hates this fact. She wants to be more feminine. She wants to be treated like a princess, although even girls see her as a prince. And that's this whole struggle of her accepting herself as this, I don't want to say thing, but she does not accept the way she looks for the most part, or the way she acts. She wants to be treated as a girl, although she kinda isn't. To me, it is presented, I wouldn't say badly, but for me at the very least, I could not make that bridge where I can see that. I mean, I can see that, but it's kind of a stretch. I don't know. Send me a comment, or if you were on YouTube, say it on the comments whether that's good or not. I don't know. And then from that, there is sibling ties. There is the fact that there are the twins, Mami and Ami, and Ami is chosen to be this first unit outside of the main group. So there's this episode where they are kind of separated, although the episode doesn't really focus on it, and it's more of a comedy kind of thing. So I don't know if it is a struggle, though you can see that they try to present it as a struggle. Well then, going forward, you can actually feel that. And I have to admit, I cried a bit. I'm lying. I cried a whole lot at the season ends of this show and at some other points, because I don't know, I get involved when there is this slice of life reality of the thing, right? When you can see yourself in that example, when you can relate that to something that happened in your life, and it is sad. Some of the situations that are featured on the show are pretty sad. Some it gets depressing actually. I just cried. I don't know. At some points I just I just cried. I was like, God damn, man, this is good, but it's bad at the same time. I know there are no stakes here, but God. And that's the part where I say that the fun thing about the entertaining thing about the show is that you get to the point where you are rooting for the girls. It's just it is fulfilling. It's wholesome. I can't explain in words. Let's just continue. So the struggles that they really are strong, right? So there's this whole inferiority complex thing with one of the girls that you can see that at some point she almost breaks, that she thinks she's holding back the group. She can't keep up, and it gets so you get annoyed by it, but not because she's annoying, because you suffer together, right? The whole thing is you suffer together. Then there is grief, which is one of the it's depressing. It's one of the most depressing parts, but at the same time, when you see it being resolved, it's so cute. It's so cute. And then there's this one part where I noted it as work-family balance, and here is the thing, right? In a world where 2020 happened, these next 3 struggles are pretty relatable. So there's this work and family balance and relation, that the fact that most of us are at home at this point. If you are working at home, the separation between workplace and home kind of gets blurry, and then you carry out stress from work straight into home, so that there's this thing where you can see the whole thing crumbling down. It's not actually what happened in the episode, but you kinda see. It's more about being helpful and all, but anyways, go watch it, goddamn. Go watch it. It's a goddamn good show. The next 2 ones are the season ends that take more than 1 episode to get together, right? So the first season ends with a whole struggle about determination, and it being built on a weak plot point is a thing that you can harp on. I could harp on it, but that's not productive at this point in time, and even then it's still wholesome, it's still fulfilling to see it resolved. But there's this thing where you just and you can see that on the presentation of the episode, right? When you step back and you see that what you want to do is not what you can, and you can't actually do what you want. It's the part where you lose all the will to do the thing, right? So this losing of the will, this I wouldn't say you get angry for it, you get disappointed, or even better, you get, I don't know, you just lose hope, right? So you just lose this spark that keeps you running. You just stop caring about what you've done, what you want to do. And it's one real struggle, actually. It's one real struggle. It's pretty hard. And then the end of the second season, the finale of the show, the most important part, the one part where, and this is the spoiler, right? The moment that the one girl who has the most positive attitude in the whole group, the one who looks, she expels positive energy, she tries to encourage people to do their best. When you see that she cannot find her positive energy anymore, that's the part where the depression hits. Oh boy, it's so messed up, because the scene is beautiful in a sad way, because you feel it, you feel it at that point. You feel it, you stop and go like, man, what's happening? And that, to me, I noted here, it's caused by burnout. You get, so the second season, right, they do this big, humongous for them at that point concert in the end of the first season, that they get famous from the next day, right? From the next day forward. And they get so loaded with job after job after recording, after interview, and all. And then you start to see that there is no more energy at the office. Nobody appears anymore at the office because they are so booked. And there are no joint rehearsals. There are no communication between the girls, right? They lose this the whole thing about them talking to each other and all. It all disappears the moment they get too famous and too booked. And then you can see that, and I'm talking about the main girl, right, Haruka. And the moment that she begins to see that she's the only one who appears at the office anymore, even though she's the one that lived the farthest from the office, and oh boy, it's heavy stuff. And she can't see her friends, right? And then she starts to question what she's struggling for, what she tries for, what is she doing there. And that's when it hits, right? She has too much work to do, and it just gets to the point where she loses herself. And that's the gist of it, right? She eventually loses herself. And I have to say, that's when the pressure hits, right? The moment that she loses herself, it's messed up. It's depressing and all. But then the moment when she starts to regain her spark, god damn, didn't I? Oh boy, I was so happy. Boy, I was so happy. And this is the thing, right? So I draw a lot of comparatives in this slice of life thing to Sweetness and Lightning. That's another anime that eventually I will cover. That you can see these everyday struggles, and you see yourself in some of them. And when it hits you, it is so bad. But when you see it resolved, it gets you so pumped because it's so happy. And anyone has this thing, right? They can present a scene, present a plot point, present a whole lot of things in such a way that, oh boy, it's so depressing, but when you get resolved, you get so happy. It's a whole roller coaster of emotions. I cried a lot at the end. I cried a lot, dude. Oh boy. I don't even think I'm making any sense anymore. But here we are, right? 40 minutes into the recording, and I can't make sense of anything. So after I just spoil dumped you with the stage of the show, let's talk about more objective things, right? So in the end of all, what's the thing that moves the show, right? What's the theme I talked about in the start about struggle? In reality, when you sit back and see what is it about, the show is about the will to overcome obstacles, to me at the very least. And the thing is, it's basically a shonen flashback to overcome the dark past and all. It's a huge shonen flashback. The whole show is a huge shonen flashback, except it has waifus and I think 6 men, the whole main cast. 2 of them just have like 4 lines in the whole anime, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, so it is a story about the will to overcome obstacles. To me, the story is well presented. Most of the episodes will feel really, although this is redundant, episodic. You will see story beats that build up to the end of season and some problems more in the future. There is this one part, this one struggle at the end of second season that is kind of built up in the first season, kinda. It's not really, it's just hinted at, so the foreshadowing is pretty heavy, but never addressed in the first season at the very least. from the quality of the stories, I think some, as I said, the struggles, some are better presented than others. Some become, they seem more mundane or more, I wouldn't say insignificant, but some things are kind of nitpicks rather than real things. And also to give the whole stage, right? The second season they introduced this thing where apparently the chief of the office of the girls has this old friend, air quotes, that was his rival, and now he's trying to pull dirty tricks with influence trade and all, and bribery and all to mess up with the girls. At some point that kinda gets you really feel like you want to goddamn kill that man, right? At some point you really just, goddamn, this guy is a bad person, and no stakes are given, right? It's about, the anime is about I think it's a PG-10. I don't know how PG works. It's a game for any age, so they do not have any violence. Why would they? But anyways, just to give the whole speech, right? About the songs, as I said in the first part, I will leave the link to Aoitori live performance. It is such a good song. Oh boy, it's such a good song. And to be fair, right, both of the openings, there is Ready Change and, oh boy, I think I'm getting the names wrong, but anyways, the both openings are bangers, right? Man, those are, honest to God, idol music that I would listen to if I could go to a concert. And also, right, one of the things that I didn't mention before, each and every episode has a different ending. No two endings are the same from what I remember now, because most of the episodes are focused on one part of the story and they have enough music to just dump it. So I already got the license, why wouldn't I use it, right? And most of the songs are pretty good. Some of them I do not remember the name, but I really want to rewatch it just to get the name. And some are unfortunately forgettable. That goes towards personal taste and all. And about animation, I mentioned before, right? The animation's pretty, let's say, for the most part, it is stylized in a good way. They do this thing where some frames are kept for longer. You can see that some frames are kept for longer to give this emphasis in the movement or this the scene itself, right? Where they stand their arms out to the crowd, where some of them, I don't know if you could say, but the more difficult dance moves and all. But for the most part, it is well animated. The animation's A1 is pretty good in animation, but they blow the whole cash in animation in the one part of the show. And if there is if the concert is in the middle of the episode, the next 10 minutes gets some strange frames. And as I said, right, it doesn't get too strange, but if you look long enough, you get weirded out. So that was for the story, for the music, for the animation. What do I think about the anime in the whole scheme? So the animation, I will give a 6 because I got weirded out by some frames, and I cannot forgive this anime. For the songs, for the ones goddamn, I remember I nearly cried just for hearing the second opening. But that's me, right? For the songs, 9 out of 10. It would be a 10, but I don't remember all the songs, and some of the songs I really thought they were pretty weak. And for story, that depends, right? So if you like to see everyday struggles or work-related struggles, I don't know. It would be higher, but to me, it's a passable 7. That means it is competent. It's not bad. It's not really, really good. It's just I can feel something. I can cry for that, and that to me is that to me is just the thing, right? The whole of the story is not it's pretty episodic, the stakes are low, but the emotions are high, so just give it a 7. And I think that's it. That's the episode. I explained what I could. I explained as spoily as possible. I don't think I got the point across. Again, watch it. Doesn't matter what I say, really. Just if you're listening yet, still, just get to the end, get your Crunchyroll or whatever you use to watch anime, and give it a watch. It is pretty good. It's just about the journey, right? It's about the journey and the experience of seeing it. It's not about the end. It doesn't matter. The end, in this case, does not matter. And that's it. That's the show. If you liked it, please give me a follow if you're on Spotify, on Apple. If you're listening to this through a podcast app, please give me a follow. I'll leave my email for feedback and all. Please, if you can, give me feedback. I would like really at this point some thoughts about the show, what I could do different. If you have a recommendation for something and all, I would really like to hear you out. If you are on YouTube, please give a like, subscribe for the algorithm, please. And that's it. Thank you for listening. See you in January. Bye.